Alrighty. Alrighty. Okay. Are you interested in more of a like a implementation problem today, or more of a like logic thinking one today? I'll give you the
Um,
choice. Yeah.
so okay, so maybe I would go with the first one.
More implementation heavy.
Oh,
Okay.
the
Oh,
first
thinking?
one, I think,
Oh, did I
yeah.
say thinking? Okay. Sorry. I got myself confused already. Okay, we can definitely do that. Let me take a look out. Let me take a look then. All right, sounds good. Let's do that. So, let's get started then. For today's problem, is what language is Python? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Python.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so for today's problem, I would like you to write me a function that takes in two string parameters, pattern and a string called s, or you can name whatever you want. And I want you to return true if and only if the string s follows the pattern. And I will describe what this means. Okay. So the pattern consists of the pattern is also a string, by the way. So the pattern, each character in the pattern maps to one unique word in the string, and you're also given that each unique word in the string also maps to exactly one letter in the pattern.
So if unique words will match. Oh, can you repeat the
Yeah,
last one?
sure. So each letter in pattern will map to exactly one unique word in the string, and each unique word in the string will map to exactly one letter in the pattern.
Exactly one letters in the patterns. Okay. So so we need to write a functions that take in the parameters. So there would be two parameters, right? If that's correct. I
That's right.
also yeah. So so here for the two parameters, the first one is would be taking a patterns at the string. Is that correct?
Yep. So you'll take in so it's two parameters. One parameter is a pattern, and one parameter is a string.
Okay. Okay. So we return true if the string follow a pattern, and a patterns map to one unique in the string and its unique words will map to exactly one letters in the pattern. Okay, so and a pattern here is also a string, right?
Yep. The type of pattern is a string. Each character in the
Okay.
pattern represents one word in the string.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's say okay, and the string here is only contains lowercase and uppercase alphabetical English letters, or it can contain special characters also.
They're just all lowercase alphabets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so for example, let's say we have maybe a pattern called um, cat, and then we have a string, okay, equal to is a cat. Okay. So so right for the pattern and the string s, so do we allow um the space at the beginning of the string and also the space at the end of the string?
Nope. No leading or trailing white space.
Okay. No reading or sharing. Okay, so that makes sense.
Done with that.
Okay. Let's see. And one edge case is that so if we have an empty string, so an empty S string, and the patterns maybe equal to the word as in this case, so we would return for in this case, right?
Yeah, you would return
Is that
false because the pattern specifies there are
okay?
3 unique words and there are no words.
Okay. And if we another case is that yeah, so the string S and then the patterns is also an empty string. So in this case, we would also return false.
This one you can return true because the pattern specifies that there are no words and the string has no words. So this is a valid
Oh,
so
yeah.
this is a valid situation. Yeah.
Okay. So this would return true. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so in the first example, we would have a string called this a cast, and the pattern that we need to match is the cast. So we need to find. I think in this case we need to find the words cast
Close.
that in the right. Yeah, you
That's
go
close but
ahead.
not quite. So the pattern here, the pattern string here, actually represents a pattern and not a word. So when you see a pattern such as CAT, it is saying that there are 3 unique words. So you can see, for example, this is defined by the fact that each character in the pattern maps to 1 word in the string. Therefore,
Oh, it can. Mhm.
yes, therefore, the example you've written over here, if you disregard the leading and trailing white space, is not valid because the pattern has 3 words, but the string has 4 words.
Oh, okay. The string have 4 words, pattern have 1 word. Okay. Yep, that makes sense. Um, let let me think about it for a second. So I think thoughts for this problem is that we can use um like a hash map for these problems. So basically, we can have a hash maps to store each of the words in the string S, right? Let's see. Use hash map to store each of the words in the string S. And then so when we store, so we use hash maps to store each of the words in the string S. So our hash map is would be um so our hash map. So let's say we would have the words is would start as the key and then the index is stored as the values. So in this case, we would have each of the words. Okay.
Okay,
I
so you have
think
the
we would have
index.
to have,
So your value is the
yeah,
index
I
in
have
the
the
string.
index.
Okay.
Yep. So, and then I'm thinking about maybe we can have a counters to count the frequencies of each characters in the words in each of the words, so that we know if we um let's say because we have the pattern CAT in the string S, and here our pattern is CAT. So if the frequencies of the words in the string S that match with the frequencies in patterns, um, so it means that we can map um, that word to the pattern that we have. So yeah,
So
that
just
would
so just to be
be
clear here,
my
so I want to clarify the problem. I'm not too sure what's going on right now. For this input, should we return true or false?
oh, this would return true,
So I think this should return false,
right?
and the reason this should return false is because of this rule over here. So each character in the pattern maps to one unique word in the string, right? Okay. So that means that you have three characters in the pattern. Whoops. You have three characters in the pattern. So you're allowed to have three unique words in the string, right? Over here, you can look at this. So the second condition is each unique word in the string will map to exactly one character in the one letter in pattern. Okay, so you have four unique words, but you have three unique characters. So this mapping is not possible.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's okay. Okay, that makes sense. So in this case, then we just okay then. Mm,
How about we write some more examples and then we can go from there.
yep. So in this case, we returns for. So what if we have um a string? Let's say okay. So let's go with this. So it can be anything, right? Any string, right?
It can be any string.
Okay.
I mean, both strings can be any string.
Okay. So if we have that, and then the pattern characters, the patterns up to one unit words in string, and each unit word exactly one letters. Okay. Um, let's say if the pattern here is H and E
Mm-hmm.
characters, one unique word in the string. Okay, so in this case, if we have the patterns is only H and E's, right?
Yeah. So would this one return true or false?
So in this case, I think this will return true in this case.
True.
Oh, oh,
I
should
mean,
return false in this case. Yes.
So this I saw, so I didn't hear you there. I think you said true. True is correct. The reason true is correct is because you have two unique words and two unique characters. Therefore, it is correct.
Mhm.
Okay, how about
Okay.
this? How about if you had this? Would this be true or false?
Um. Oh, so we changed the orders. I think in this case, it would returns false
What do you think is false?
because here in the string we have H and eagle in orders, but in this case, in the pattern, we have the patterns um, E and an H. Although it's matched with the two words in the string S, but the order is not correctly, so that's why I think it's false.
Where does the rule say order? The rule
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
care about the order between two unique words.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, so the orders do not matters. Okay, so in this case, we also returns true.
It's not that the order. Don't say the order doesn't matter. The order does matter, but this order is still correct because I say define E equals H, define H equals world, a word. Therefore, it's correct because the criteria has been met.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay, that makes sense. So
Okay.
is much and
Okay. How
H
about this?
not.
The, should this pattern return true or false?
Um, so this would return false
Okay. And why is that?
because we have the E here, which is matched with E in the word hello.
Mm-hmm.
But for the words here, there are no E's in that word, so that's why we return false in this case.
Just to be clear, I'm not sure if I heard you right there, but it doesn't matter if the word has a letter inside of it. That does not matter. All that matters is that this condition holds true. That's all that matters.
Okay. This character is mapped to one unique in a string and each unique word to map exactly one letters. Okay, so in that case, then I think this also return true.
Okay, can you explain why?
Um, because for each of the characters
Uh huh.
in the
There's
pattern array, so yeah, it will map to the unique words hello here in the string S,
uh huh.
and then each of the words the hello is would map with exactly one letters in pattern.
Okay, so we map
So
hello to E.
yes, yeah.
Okay, and how about word?
So we'll map exactly one letters. Hello two. So I think hello is will doesn't matters because we already mapped the hello with the is in the pattern, so that's why.
Yeah, so we mapped hello to E. That's fine. That's still valid so far,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But what do we do with word?
yep.
Right, here we have a
What do
rule.
we do
Each
with
word will map to
words?
exactly one letter in pattern.
It's word of map with exactly one letters. It's word. So we're not allowed to modify the string, right? anything if that's correct.
You don't modify it. You just return true or false. You don't need to modify anything, right? In this case, the reason this returns false is because there's no unique mapping between two unique words and one unique letter.
Oh, okay.
You cannot map hello to E and then word to also E because E is already mapped to hello. Hello and E are already linked, right? They can't be reassigned, right? And then word has no more unique letters to map to, so word cannot be mapped to anything. So that's why this is false. So that's why this is a so that's why the string does not follow the pattern. Now, if we had the previous
Oh,
example, which
okay.
is EH, this is valid because hello can map to
Mm,
E and word can map to H. And then with this mapping, we have satisfied the condition because each character in the pattern has mapped to unique word, right? E maps to hello, H maps to word. So that's been satisfied. And each word will also map to one letter. So hello maps to E, word maps to H. That's why this fulfills the pattern. Right now, to be clear, like you said earlier, the order doesn't the order is not specific. So you could also say that hello maps to H and word maps to E. And with this mapping, the criteria is still met. So this is as long as you can find a mapping, any mapping that fulfills the criteria, then it fulfills the pattern.
okay. Yep, that makes sense. Okay, so in this case, we will return true. If it is return false. Okay. Um, let me make this. Okay, we will return false. Okay, so how are we gonna? Okay, I'm thinking how we're gonna map each of the characters in the each of the character in the string S to the characters in the pattern so that we know that we map it correctly. What if we use a hash map, but for this hash map we store the frequency for each of the characters in the string S, and then we also have another hash map to store the frequency of each characters in the pattern. So let's say um, right, for hello we have H and the frequency which is 1, and then E we would have frequency 1, and then L, and then L which would have, so the frequencies now it would be 2, right? Would be 2, and then the O is 1.
Why are we getting a frequency of the letters in the string?
So if we know the frequency of each characters in the string, and then we also know the frequencies of each of the characters in the pattern so that we can um Oh, so that's when we. Mm,
The frequencies of the letter in the string don't matter at all. We only care about words in the string. In the pattern, we care about the specific characters. But in the word, in the string, we only care about the words. In other words, if we make another example, so we know that this is valid, as we discussed. This is also valid because we have fulfilled the criteria where A maps to E, B maps to H, and in this mapping, the criteria is fulfilled. The specific words in like how many letters are in each word in the input string don't matter.
oh, okay. We only care. Okay, let's say. Okay, so in this case, we also return true, right? For if the string is A and B, and then the pattern is EH.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
So in other words,
Okay, we
right,
also.
right. So in this example, so from now on, let's think about the input string, not as in words, just as in characters. Okay, so this could be
As character.
one or two. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all. So let's just call it this for now. Okay. So what we want to say is we want to produce some way to map the strings to each word in the string to a letter in the pattern. And you'll notice that it doesn't matter if we say one maps to E or one maps to H. It doesn't matter, right? And why does it matter? It doesn't matter um, because the order of these words don't matter, which is what you said earlier, right? The order of the words don't exactly matter, and the order within the words don't matter either. But the order of the words don't really matter here, right? So, with a loss of generality, you could have said that this was 2-1, and in this case, 1 would have mapped to the H anyways, right? So, let's just say that we always map the first character to the first letter as greedily as possible. Okay, so let's traverse these two, and we produce the mapping. I'll just write it in this format. It's a bit easier for me.
Yep.
Okay, so we produce a mapping. One maps to E. Okay, and then we produce mapping 2 maps to H. And then from here on, we have finished the mapping. Okay. Can we test whether this is whether this has met the criteria? Right, we can test this 2 ways. The first way we can test it is pretty simple. Right, we can just say, all right, does 1 map to 1 character or multiple characters? For example, if we had an invalid pattern, like let's say this, we would have mapped 1 to E, and then 1 to E again, or and then the second next to E again, or we would have mapped 1 to H. So that could have been like this. And this is invalid because 2 letters map to 1, to one word, right? So we can produce the mapping first, and then we produce the mapping, right? Let's say, right, you traverse your word, you get the index that the word is out. Oh, the index doesn't even matter. You can get the next available index of the pattern, and you can just basically think to yourself, hey, has this letter already been mapped? Does E already map to someone else? So this is like this is one way you can build this mapping while traversing both strings.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. So, we can use like 2 for loops. So the first for loop we will need to iterate through the string S, and then the second for loops we also iterate through the string pattern, right? And then we would have some conditions or the map so that we know that the one is mapped correctly with the characters E in pattern and then to map correctly with with characters H in pattern.
We can do it that way. I know,
Okay.
but that might be a bit confusing if you do a nested loop. Why don't we do a loop like this? Let's first of all, it has to be the case that the length of the string should be the same length as the pattern, right? If they
Oh,
don't have the
okay. Yeah.
same, if they don't have the same length, they can't, for this purpose, like it's not going to be valid, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
let's loop through. So let's do it this way. So let's say for word in string. Okay, so keep in mind that you might have to parse a little bit, but this bit of pseudocode, right? For word and string, we have a mapping already. Okay, so let's check if this word has this mapping, right? So this is our mapping
Okay.
here, right? What is it? Right, we get the current mapping. If it exists, if it doesn't exist, then it's fine, right? If it doesn't exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't exist, we need to get it. Like we need to make a mapping, right?
Okay. So yeah.
Right. If it does exist, right? Else if does exist, right? If it does exist, then we can either continue. Then you can decide what to do. So we can either continue and just ignore it, and at the very end check if it's correct, or we can do some more logic here. But the most important thing I think
Mm-hmm.
for now is just to generate the mapping.
Okay, to generate a mapping.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we gonna generate the mapping? Let me think about.
You can generate
So,
the map. So keep in mind. So generating the mapping is one way to think about it, but keep in mind that this is a logical structure, right? This, by the way, it's bidirectional, right? It's bidirectional. This is purely a logical structure, and so you can either do it the way I just proposed. That's one way to do it, or you can think about a third condition. So in addition to these two, right? So these two conditions that we discussed, you can think about
mhm.
what this must mean, like what third condition is derived from these two, and that would make things easier to implement. But you would have to think about it a little bit.
Okay, so it's a bidirectional.
It's bidirectional,
So
yes.
we can either map one to the characters E or the other ways, right? So we can also map. Can we also map the E with the one here?
You can map it both ways. You can either map it both ways by making two maps. That's one way to do it, obviously, or
Mm,
you can just add the same key back into the map the other way around. That's up to you. It doesn't really matter.
okay.
But just keep in mind that just keep in mind that the most important part is that it's unique. Like when you decide that one maps to E and vice versa, nothing else can map to one and nothing else can map to E.
Oh,
Right? Like
no.
that's a condition we're talking about here, right? So it's one to one.
Oh, it's okay. So if it's 1 to 1, we okay. So we can either use a mapping or so I'm thinking about we can use like a set
Okay.
so that um we can map each of the so we can map one to only to E. So um we can use two sets to store the characters
Okay.
in the patterns and in the S so that um so it would be Unix, mapping would be Unix, right? So that's why we can maybe we can use to set to store the frequencies of to store characters in S, and
Do you mean
another set
do you
to
mean characters or
store
words here?
to store okay. Okay, so for the first set, I think we will need to store the words in S, and then another set to store the characters in pattern.
That sounds better.
Okay.
That sounds better. Yeah.
And then in this set, okay, let's say if we have pretend this would be a set. In this case, we have the words. Oh, so this would be the first set, right?
Okay.
And then we would have another set. Set P for pattern. Then in this case, okay, so for the key, we would store the words. And I'm thinking for the values, we will store the index of that word or the frequencies of that word. If we store the index of that word,
So keep in mind the index doesn't really matter again, right? Right, like the order of the words within the string don't really matter. We're really looking to, right, like the property we're looking for here, right? The third property that we can derive from the first two is that the number of unique characters in pattern is equal to the number of unique words in the string.
okay. Number of unique words in patterns equal to words in the string. Okay, so we need the number of unique words.
So does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So if we store, let's see, if we store the string hellos as, okay.
So can you now write a some code to find a number of unique words in the string, and write some to find a number of unique letters in the pattern?
Okay. So let me. So if we have a function called find words. So this would take in the string at and the patterns. Number of Unix words. Okay. So we would have the first set to store the characters or to store the words in the string S, and then another set to store the characters in pattern.
Okay.
And then so we need to array through. So for words in S, so we check if the words in the set S already in the set S, then we just okay, let's see if the word's not in set S, then we just need to add that word
Okay.
into the set. So otherwise, if it's not in,
I think our first condition is already not in.
okay, so yeah. So if the word is in the set, but if it's already in the set,
If it's in the set already, you don't need to do anything, right? It's already in the set.
oh, okay, yeah. So yep, that makes sense. And then we also find the number of unit words in the patterns. So for each of the characters in the okay, see here in the patterns. So if are not in the pattern, we just need to add that characters into the set patterns. Okay, now we have the two sets for the mapping.
So now you have the two sets, right? Do you remember what I said? What I give? What is the condition that we're checking for?
We need to check if the word in the string it can match with exactly
Not
the
quite. You're
characters
checking this condition here.
in the pattern. The number of unique words in pattern equal to the number of unique words in the string. Yes, true. So now we would have to have a condition to check the number of unique words in pattern. Okay, if we check, so if we check, how do we check? So if the length of this, so if we have the length of the set S equal with length of the set P, in this case we'll need to return Rules.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So that's for the checking for the
And what if they're
universe
not
and
equal?
pattern and universe in. Um. Okay. So if it's not equal, then we just returns for.
Okay. Let's walk
Yep.
through. So we're a bit low on time now. I want to just go through the time and space
Yep.
complexity here. So why don't you just walk through that?
Hmm. So here, time complexity. The time complexities for the way through the string s is would be O of n in this case, and the time complexity for iterate through the pattern strings. Let's say it would be O of m. M would be the length of the string pattern, and n would be the length of the string s.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. So in this case, we check if the characters in this okay in the set or not. Oh, this would be set key. So this would be O1. So I think the overall times complexity is would be m plus n
Okay.
complexity. Mm, the space we do have to hash set to store the string. So I think that the time complexities and the space complexity is also m plus n.
Okay.
M is length of patterns. S is length of S. Yep.
Yep. That makes sense. Um. Okay. I'll end the mock here, and we'll go through some feedback and questions. How's that sound?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
that sounds good to me.
Okay. Um. I mean, I'll open up to you first. Anything that you want to talk about most about this problem?
I think first I get confused by these conditions. Like
Yeah.
for each of the like I confused by two conditions to check for the words and the characters for the mappings. So that's why it took me a quite like long times to go through, and also you also give the example for me to go through um the example to really understand the problems is about. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
first of all, I think I should give more example to really understand about the problem before like running to the coding or the pseudocode. So yeah,
Yeah. That's a pretty big
yeah, do you,
danger because
yeah,
if the interviewer doesn't stop you from doing your pseudocode, and they might not stop you because they're evil, or they might not stop you because they don't know what you're doing. Or if they don't know what you're doing, they might not
yes,
stop you because you might know what you're doing. They don't want to stop you, right? Um,
yeah,
at the bare minimum, you should at least be explicit about what the return value is for the example that you wrote, because you did not write a return value for that one, right? And that ended up being wrong. So you should at least, at the
yeah,
bare minimum, write the return values for your own examples. And when the conditions are unclear, you should definitely make more examples to cover the edge cases, right? For example, even if you don't know what this means, you must at least know that there is a condition where words in the string are unique and the words in a pattern are not unique, and vice versa. That right there are two examples that you should write. So even if you don't
mm,
understand the conditions or the question, you should still be able to figure out good example inputs, right? That's a skill there. So that's something you should be practicing and should be doing, right? But yeah, the main thing is I think because you've been stuck on the like the understanding for so long, most interviewers will just straight up give you the input examples, like I did,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
yeah, at that point the entire goal is basically to try to get you to the same level of understanding, because otherwise it's not going to help either party. Now, when the
Yeah.
interviewer gives you more and more hints, you should recognize that that is like the most important piece of information out of all the information, because that is what they have determined that you don't understand. So you definitely need to
Mhm.
pay attention to that and figure out exactly how that's going to help unblock you. Okay? An
Yeah.
example of that we saw at the end. The last major hint given was I said that the number of unique words in the pattern, which additional
Mhm.
unique characters in the pattern, is
Mhm.
is has to be equal to the number of unique words in the string. Right? This is the whole property of this entire problem. Right?
Mhm.
And so at the end there, your entire goal should be to work backwards from that, right? You want to, you want to know that these are the that this number of unique characters, the number of unique words, are they equal? Okay, I don't have the unique letters. Okay, let's get the unique letters, right? So that's something that you should always be thinking of at the back of your head, because it's not a good look if you write this and then you get stuck on this,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because that means that you didn't actually understand why you made these two sets in the first place.
Mhm.
So one thing you can even do, which is what I don't think this is like always necessary. It's not a good use of time, but if you're not clear on what's going on, you should write the function backwards. Let me give an example, right? So let's say you were given this major hint. Let me copy it over here. So let's say you're given this hint. This is your goal, right? Your goal is to do this. Why is this thing working? Okay, right? So def function where you have sp, right? Okay, so let's say num unique words, num unique chars, right? Return num unique words, num unique chars, right? Okay, I work backwards now. This is my goal. Now I need to populate these two fields. Okay, how do I do that? Okay,
Mhm.
so now I need to make a set. Okay, gotta make a set. So set. So let's just say word set equals what I call it. It was set s dot split. Oh, this is a small bug in your code, by the way. It doesn't matter, but when you iterate through word and s like this, it actually iterates for each character. You actually need s dot
Mhm.
split to split by the white space,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't matter. So yeah, word set. Okay, and now I know num unique words equals length word set, right, and vice versa. So that's how you can work backwards to solve the problem. So if you're not clear about
Mm.
how to do stuff, you can work backwards and start the return
Mm.
value first. Mock out the return, like so make the variable, right? Make the variables, return the variables, and then figure out how to set them. So that way you at least never lose sight of your goal, right?
Yeah.
So that's an option that you have in the case you're confused. Now, if you're not confused, don't do this because that would be confusing for the interviewer. But if you are confused, at least this will help save you some confusion. So that's a strategy you can use.
Yep. That's makes sense now. That's so much clearer than at the beginning.
Yeah,
Thank you
I
so
mean, a lot of
much.
these
Yeah.
problems that are not algorithmically hard are meant for you to think about them. Like they are meant for you to figure out what is being asked and for you to figure out how to derive a property. Because you can solve it. If you actually find this problem in LeetCode, and well, so the problem's a bit different in LeetCode, but it doesn't matter. The intended solution is for you to generate the actual full mapping and return and
Mm.
short circuit and return false when the mapping is no longer possible. Right? That is the intended solution. But if you can find the mathematical or the deductive rule that must be true, that could be even simpler to write. So if you wanted to do the
Oh.
implementation version, then I would have not given you that hint. I would have let you write, like I basically would just let you write the mapping instead, right? But that's not too interesting of a problem. So yeah, there's a lot of
Mhm.
variation in this kind of stuff, and you need to think to yourself, given these sort of patterns, like I know you haven't seen this before, but given these sort of patterns, is there a third rule that must be true but is not told, right? The third rule that I gave you at the end, it's intuitive that it must be true, right? Everyone knows, like you can think about it, like you understand it must be true, but they won't give it
Yeah.
to you. So next time you think about these kind of things, especially when there's such a strong requirement, because like these both are individually fairly strong requirements, and they both must be true. So you should be, whenever you see problems like this, where you're trying to figure out if a property is true, and they give you a bunch of strict rules that must all be true,
Mhm.
then there's oftentimes you can deduce another rule or some other simpler thing to check from the set of rules given. So that's an option for you to think about in the future. Now that's usually not an easy thing to do without experience. So like don't get stuck on that, but just be aware that the stricter the rules, the more easy it is to find another rule.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. But I have a question. So you said about defining a rules, like
Yeah.
how do we know or how do we define the first rule that it is correct and we know it's correct, and then we define another one that's based on that? Am I understand you
Yeah,
correctly?
so the problem given has two rules. The first rule is that each character in the pattern must map to one unique word in the string. The second rule that is given is that each unique character in the no, no, each unique word in the string will match to one unique letter in the pattern. Right? These are two rules that are given to you. Right?
Hmm.
Now, I don't know how good your graph theory is, but this is the definition of a bijective function. So from that, if you know about bijection, or even if you don't, you can still think of it. But this is a technical term you can search up later, bijection. From that, you say, oh, this is a biject like this. By these two rules, I can deduce that there is a bijection between letters in pattern and words in string. And in a bijection, the size of the two sets must be equal. Therefore, the size of the
Hmm.
set, which contains all unique characters in the pattern, must equal to the size of the set in all unique words in the string.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, that's totally makes sense now. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the kind of things you can find. This one was pretty. This one is relatively the way it's worded is makes it pretty clear that this is a thought process you can have. Some other problems won't make it this clear, and that's fine. So you shouldn't like count on there always being a rule. But I'm just saying that as an option. And even though strict rules make it sound like a hard problem, um, the more strict the rules are, the more likely you can find a different rule, which is the if you combine the previous rules. So that's always an option. So just look for that if it's easy.
Okay, yep. That's interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing else to really say. I mean, the time analysis was good. It's got to separate the in and m. Blah blah. Yeah, the sets add are O1. Checking is O1. That's good. Otherwise, yeah, I think that was the main piece of feedback there. So a lot for you to think about there. Any other questions before we call it here?
I think that's all for today. But I definitely looking later for what you said about the bijections problem stuff. Yeah. Because I at the first I really get confused for the problem that you given about the string and the pattern. So that's why it took me like very long to really understand until you give me the examples.
Yes.
So
And part
yeah.
of the skill there is to actually know that you're confused and to write examples yourself. So that is something which, regardless if you know the problem or not, you could always do. So that's, I think, the
Yeah.
main learning from that aspect at least. But yeah. Okay, then
Okay.
thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for doing the mock interview and
Okay,
have a
I'll
great
catch you
weekend.
later.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we're moving on to resume reviews. I am. Where the hell am I? There we are. Okay. Boom. Let me put this here is fine. Let me ping the server first. Actually, let me open the poll. I mean, not the poll, the form. Where is my form? Here it is. Redact your personal information, resume, confirm, Discord Twitch user, explain your kind of accomplished resume. Go in detail, or else I will assume you are going for full stack software. This includes the body of the resume, such as GitHub links, visible GitHub usernames. Okay, let me send this on YouTube. Submit resume. Boom. Pin message. Share. Copy. Where's my events? Disable that. Let me disable that. Create events. Where the hell are the events list in the server? 3 events. Edit event. Boom. Announcements. Server. Events. Resume reviews now. On now. Okay, boom. Alright. Alright. Now get going in the background. Get out of that one. Oh, actually, before I do that, let me send this person their feedback. There we go. Okay. Entitled form. Today's date is 12/15. Okay. Yes, 12/15. That's right. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we got one over here. Let's take a look. This is okay. This looks good to me. Let's take a look at this one. Let me delete these ones. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's go here. Okay. What color should we use today? Let's use green. I like green. Okay, so this person was asking, looking to secure SDE2 role by showcasing my technical skills, problem-solving abilities, impact I made in previous roles. Goal is to present a concise and compelling overview of my experience that aligns with the expectations of an SDE2 position. So when you say SDE2, okay, that makes sense. I will say that it's not clear right now where we're looking at. So where's your degree? So from, yeah, is this SDE2 in, so I don't think they're in chat right now, but I can't tell if this person's like SDE2 in A or in India. I'm assuming they're in India because they're presently in Hyderabad. So I'm assuming they're Indian. So I will disclose by saying that, I don't know what's going on in the Indian market right now. I know it's tough there, but I can't really comment on that. But I can still comment at least on the SDE2. You said bar. Expectations, you said expectations. So I can still comment on that. Okay, so let's take a look here. PII, that's fine. We have, so this is a full-time, 2022, just over 2 years. This is a student developer, GSOC. Okay, GSOC here. This is front end. This is intern, front end developer, not as an intern for a couple months. Okay, some projects here. You could, I think you can save a line, combine those two, but it doesn't matter. Okay, PHP. Okay, yeah, that checks out. All right, fraud abuse patterns. It's from hours, days, hours. Improve review accuracy. Wait, what is this? Fraud. Improve review accuracy with 100% reduction in human errors. Okay. Damn, that's a lot. Yes, you should repost onto the Google form. Yeah. People, like I can't follow up on Discord that much because there's too much noise there. It's too much noise there. People spam the resumes without reading any rules, so I've stopped reviewing stuff there. Migration zero downtime from okay. Pipelines, sure. Okay, so this is so let me just quickly scan these. These I don't think are relevant at all, basically. Containerized versions, transliteration editor, API, okay. Web app, Docker, Nginx, cross-sourcing, don't know what that is. Payment recurring service, convert some text, CEO migrating. Work closely with CEO to migrating and redesigning components. The English there is off. Why is the CEO redesigning components? This is a bad point. That's fine. Okay. So these are like just regular stuff. Nothing really to say there. If you want to demonstrate the SDE2 bar, this seems to be your most your opportunity. So go into a bit more detail here. Good data. Too much bolding. This is going to be bolded. Never bold SharePoint, please. Well, maybe in India it's big. Maybe in India SharePoint is kind of important. Okay, but I personally would not be bolding this at the very least, or this. Main thing here I'm looking at is that this one you led, right? So you led a migration. You built this is like ETL, not quite ETL. This is just a data lake. So this sounds like a smaller thing. This sounds like a smaller scope. This sounds like a medium scope, but you had a nice, it has some nice stats to back it up, so it's okay. I will also say that zero downtime is good, obviously, and you had a 100% increase in service availability, so you doubled service availability. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense unless you had a 50% service availability before multi-region. So someone like me who knows what's going on, and I read this data point, I won't assume you're malicious, right? I assume you're a good person. So I'll just assume that you have no idea what you're talking about. If I was a mean reviewer, I would assume that you're straight up lying, like you're just straight lying. So be careful about stuff like 100%. Like this as well is like barely believe. I'll believe it, but if you're putting numbers like 100%, you better know what's going on, right? So anyways, but this has like a medium scope thing, pretty good stuff, makes sense. You put this point first, right? This point seems to be mostly about so you have a how, what, why, that makes sense, but the what is that you built a dashboard, right? So your flagship point here is you built a dashboard. Now I don't know what a tenant remediation lifecycle dashboard is, but if it's a dashboard and you're not telling me exactly what kind of data is on it, you're not telling me who you work with to put it on, like who are the stakeholders, what's going on here. I don't think this is going to be a good flagship point, right? I don't think this can be your flagship point here. SDE2 bar here in NA, this would be tight, especially if you're jumping companies. I don't think this would be considered SDE2. To be frank, I don't know if there's SDE2 level items on this. You might need to refresh a little bit and figure out if you can highlight. So because you said here technical skills, right? In your submission, you said technical. You said highlight technical skills, problem solving abilities, impact. I see impact. Technical skill wise, I think it's pretty still normal. I think if you're maybe within Microsoft, yeah, you could see what's going on there. External, I don't think this would be SDE2. Not quite there. It's on the, I can tell it's on the way though. I tell it's getting there, but what it's written right now, like what I can see, it's not quite there. I think resume itself is fine. I would the projects SDE2, like unless you got some like major stuff going on here, I would say projects you got to trim it down. I don't know why this has 4 points. Like why is this a point? Like that's like this is wasting too much space, right? So the formatting can use a bit of work there, but I don't think it's too far off. It's just content there is not quite. Okay, let's go. Let's go next. Let me take a look. How much time do I have today? That's the first thing. I put an hour. I usually do an hour minimum, and I usually go overtime quite a bit. But I need to be out the door by 5:30. So I got no, probably a bit earlier than 5. Probably like 5. So I got like an hour and a half. Okay, hour and a half. All right, let's look at this guy. This guy resume looks fine. Their comment. Let's look at their comment. Their comment is first year BCS, second degree, 200 apps, no interviews. Struggling to quantify bullet points. I don't have any users/results yet. Aiming for 2025 any internship, summer, fall, full stack ML. I'm actively working on projects to increase my resume. Increase my resume. That sounds funny. But in the meantime, what's the best thing I can do to improve? Looking for feedback. Thank you. Okay, so 200. 200. Wait, was this you? Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, 200 apps, no interviews is likely a combination of resume and applying strategy. But let's take a look here. Okay. Okay. BCS, nursing, bachelor of science, side distinction, physiology. Okay. Some stuff there. Okay. That's a lot of space, but I mean, if it's 3 degrees, you might have to. Okay. Let's take a look. That's a capital S. NumPy, Atari, blah, blah, blah. That's okay. That's fine. That's a pretty good cover. That's pretty good coverage. That's pretty good coverage. Okay, work experience. Let's take a look. So this is present, 2 presents. This is a while ago. Hospital, search run. Yeah, I think this is about the right space for that. Okay. Developed multiple data. I think the wording here needs to improve. Like you're not developing databases. You're you're designing schemas, right? So a point like this, for example, needs to touch on, it needs to touch on what considerations you made when making database, like when designing the schemas. I'm assuming you didn't actually make a database. I'm assuming that you made a schema, right? Okay, so like this tells like very very little information about what's actually going on here, right? Like as a reader, okay, you have a database. I have no way to even begin to think about whether or not you did a good or bad job, because I don't know. Like for example, okay, you have this is not a database, but it's like a data store. You have this database, you have this database, and you have this. You have 3 databases. I don't know what Atari is, but it might be. You have at least 3 databases here, right? So you have 3 database technologies here. Why are there 3? Like, what's going on here, right? I don't understand how that's going to interplay. I don't understand what the benefit of using 3 is. This sounds quite complicated. I know it's time series. That's why you might use timescale DB, etc. That makes sense. But like, what else is going on here? So there's a bit of it's lacking some information, and I think you have the information. It's just that I don't understand what's going on, right? This one integrated. This is fine. Again, I think you can elaborate a bit on integrated. Like you have an application, it just reads from database. If you meant that you made your database available to be read, that's not a point. If you instead meant that you made the desktop application do something new and do some cool stuff with the new data in the database you designed, that's a better point, right? That should be talking about. But if you did that, then you should lead with modified or integrated. Like integrated is an okay word. I don't like the word integrated too much, but like you augmented some capability of the desktop app using some new information that you gathered, right? So I think you could definitely phrase this a bit better if that second case is what happened here. Okay, research lab. Yeah, this is Okay, this is a different job. Okay, this is machine learning research. Okay, some Python Colab research project. Some novel deep learning techniques under supervision of Dr. X. Create a simulation environment to benchmark the proposed model against current models and ground truths. Okay. So you mentioned, was it you? You mentioned struggling to quantify with bullet points. They don't have any user/results yet. So I'm assuming you don't have benchmark results here, right? So I think there's but there's actually there's two aspects on this point. The first one is how good the performance is with the benchmark, right? You don't have that, okay, too bad. No, like, you can't do anything about that, right? But next time you have them, you can put them in, right? But independent of the benchmark results, you can talk a little bit more about the simulation environment. So I'll give you an idea here, right? Let's say you don't have the benchmark numbers. Okay, that's fine, right? If you look at the structure of this point, this is the only content that I can go off of, right? If you have no numbers, the entirety of this is completely useless to me, right? Like what am I supposed to do with this, right? Like I know you have a simulation environment, but that's not clear the fidelity. It's not clear what it consists of. Is it an entire Docker container with a whole bunch of services in it that modify XYZ, or is it like one bash script that just runs something, right? So I don't have anything to go off of here. All this other stuff is only to augment the point if you had the benchmark results, but you don't. So the rest of this is quite fluffy, right? So until you do, if you plan on applying to jobs after you get the results, then leave it as is and put the number in. If you don't, then change this point to focus more on what the environment actually is, right? This first point, you kind of had to put it in. That's fine. Okay, projects. Let's look at the projects. So you said full stack ML. Okay. Trial palette demo. Demo's good. I like that. Dates if possible. If not, no problem. So this is front end. Oh, we have Node. Okay. Team developers design and develop personalized travel websites and use to save and organize travel inspirations from Instagram, post or seamless trip planning. Okay, if you have login functionality, which you don't know if you do, put it in. Login stuff, authentication, OAuth, Auth2, that kind of stuff, Auth, anything like that is good for keywords. Develop the script to parse the description of files about users. Develop the script to parse. Okay. Okay, sure. So a couple of things here, right? The first thing here is that develop the script. Is this, so by script, do you mean a standalone JavaScript file or what's going on here? It's a bit unclear how you actually work with these other technologies, because you have this high level point, which is good, and then you have this point, which seems to reference none of these four. So that's not clear to me what you actually know about those four, right? Okay, car-based 2D platformer, car game, blah, blah. Okay, this is a bit weaker. That's fine. Shopping page, create a shopping page, users browse, person item. Implement a navigation bar to display current. Okay, real time. Okay. Yeah, this feels like a 210 level project, which is fine, but you are much better off expanding points on this project, which I think is the strongest one here. Battleship game. Okay, yeah. The thing that's missing here for what you're talking about is kind of twofold, right? There's no full stack experience here. The only full stack here is this reference to Node.js. And arguably this job over here, where like you have some full stack stuff here. Like you have, well, you said there's a desktop app. There's some. It's not really clear what's going on here. Some people call this full stack. I would call it kind of full stack, like most of the stack. But this here only reference to full stack here is you have a front end framework and back end framework. And even in this example, you didn't talk about any framework at all. So that's why I think it's a bit rough on the full stack job hunt. For AI ML stuff, that stuff's super competitive right now, especially if you're looking for 2025 summer. Fall is less competitive, 2025, but summer is always the most competitive. And people generally fill top down, so they fill from the most qualified people they can get in terms of like degree and research experience. So as I keep looking for opportunities here, that's your best bet for ML side of things. Otherwise, yeah, get a full stack project. I say because you had a good question here. Like in the meantime, what's the best thing to do to improve? Get a real full stack project down, right? So if you have work on this one, I can't tell this like a hackathon project. I can't quite tell, but if you have done full stack here, put it in. If you haven't, get something full stack. Okay. You mentioned job applying strategies. What do you mean by that? What should people do differently when applying to jobs? I mean, I can't give advice on that because it's so different based on the person. But I'll give you an example. Right, this guy said he applied to 200 jobs and got 0 interviews. If your callback rate's 0% out of a sample size of 200, something's not quite right. Like even if you have a really bad callback rate with no prior experience, you should be looking at about 1%, 0.5 to 1.5%. So if you're looking at 0 out of 200, then there's likely either strategy being run that you're not applying to jobs that are well fitted to your resume, or you do not understand the requirements of the job essentially, or you have a glaring resume error, like your email's wrong on the resume, which I've seen before, unfortunately, but it's not very common. Okay, this guy's resume looks fine. Let's go. Oh, that's the same guy. Whoops, I didn't click download. Let's get rid of that guy. Okay. This guy's comment is recently graduated, no work experience, want to step into some entry-level job. Most of my experience stems from doing academic projects, so naturally I feel AI ML research roles feels like a good fit for me. Okay. No work experience, want to step into some entry-level jobs. Okay. Okay, so we got some CPen here. Wait, what's going on here? Okay, so you should just put January 25 over here. Okay, these are all relevant, so I can keep that. I'll let you keep that. That's fine. 2 lines is a lot, though. So if you don't care about mobile app development, get rid of that, for example. This is a previous. Oh, this is a master's. Okay, master's. This is a bachelor's. Also CPen in India. Okay. That's a lot of space for. That's a lot of space for coursework. I'll let it slide for now. Skills. Lowercase s. Okay, that's fine. All right. Okay. Let's take a look here. So this is ongoing. This is sort of recent. This is earlier. These are a bit long ago. Okay. So you said you're doing what ML? You're doing AI ML, but you didn't say. So you said you feel like AI ML is a good fit for you, but you didn't say what you're actually going for. So I'm assuming you're going for AI ML then. Yeah, so sometimes a watery language is hard to parse. Okay. These are all projects, and they're all like that's 3 months, that's 3 months, that's less than that, that's 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. So they're all like short-term projects, so nothing long-term. Okay. Advanced for experimentation. What? Adjectives like advanced don't really mean much if you only spend 3 months doing it. Oh, okay, that's good. Good. It's a good opening point. Privacy reason HPC clusters, thermal workload, in terms of performance, consistent performance, and privacy. Wait, you evaluate. Okay, evaluate is a good word here. That makes sense then. Analyze privacy budgets, and benchmarking model performance across diverse architectures and datasets. That makes sense. AI-driven MRI classification system, developed, trained, CNN models MRI, these things, 90% accuracy, F1 squared of 0.89. Develop and train CNN models. Okay. Applied ensemble methods, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's 2 points there. Yeah, I think it's pretty better to keep it 2 points. Android application, accelerometer, JavaScript. Machine learning for on device, machine responses. Mobile application for real-time fault detection. Reducing false positives 35%. Compared to what? Yeah, there's no point of comparison here, so I'm not sure what that means. Idea is okay though. Stuff like this. Back to this is the same. No, this is different. There's different. Okay. This feels like a bit of a duplicate though. No, I think it's different. I think it's different enough. Some machine learning models can run for it. Yeah, this definitely feels like a weaker project compared to some stuff you've had more recently. Yeah, stuff like this is just strictly a worse point than this, right? Move recommendation system. This is 2021 to me, so this is a bit longer of a project. It's a bit longer of a project, and you were 2020. What time? 2021. So you were doing your bachelor's. Okay. This format's a bit weird, right? Like I don't know why you switch formats to like this now. Okay, I would say these two you should parse down both to 1 point each, and then you can expand over here. This you should put a point there. This is by far your best project, I'd say, and then either pick one between here and here to add another point. That's where I would distribute your points. As for yes, for no as for no work experience part, I mean you still have like I don't know how dead set you are. Oh wait, no, you don't have time. You're graduating like in a month. Okay, never mind. I was saying that if you had, wait, did you January graduations? Okay, whatever. Yeah, so then there's probably no room for you to do internships. In which case, yeah, good luck on the job hunt. It's with these projects, I think it'd be better than if you didn't. But obviously the best is to have internship experience while you're still in school. Anyway, too late for that now. Okay. What's going on next? Okay, this guy looks fine. Okay, looks fine. Okay, this guy's comment. This guy's comment is where the hell is this? My spreadsheet. Here it is. Targeting new grad roles, Canada. Interested in Android dev, software dev, data engineer, ML roles. Okay. What was this person? This person's this. Okay, let's take a look. So got another one here. That's a lot of. Get rid of that. ML. Okay, for ML, that's a lot of ML. This is all ML except for Spring Boot and React. REST is not. Is REST a framework? I wouldn't consider it a framework. Whatever. Okay. Do you not have Python here? You should put Python there, dude. Okay. New grad, right? What are you? You are... Oh, you graduated already. Okay, I see. Okay. You are missing location for this experience. I will put the location there. Okay. Monitored for functionalities post driver code updates and C. This is a bit. Like the opening point is already confusing. So there was a driver update in C to optimize performance of embedded devices. Okay, makes sense. And you monitored for those functionalities. So from this point, I don't know if you wrote the driver updates or not, because if you did, that should be the first thing. Like, why are you talking about like screw monitoring? Like that's less impressive than actually making the driver updates. If you didn't write the driver updates, then this entire first line is just wasted space. The word spearheaded is bad, by the way. Don't use that. As an intern, no one's gonna believe you. Yeah, so this first one is a bit all over the place. Also, don't know what epics is. I'll just give the benefit of the doubt. I'm assuming epics is a relevant thing in plasma physics or whatever. So like, okay, that's fine. But like, the first point is opening quite weak. Either put this one first or rephrase it or be more explicit that you actually made the driver updates. Leverage archive appliance. So if you're not going for roles on Plasma, stuff like archive or appliance means nothing to the rest of us, right? So if this is a database, just say leverage internal database to fetch and monitor process variables via SQL on a web-based dashboard. Web-based as in like a React? You had a React over here, right? If it's React, put React there. If it's not React, don't put web-based. Enabling real-time analysis of thousands of data points, demonstrating experience database. Resolve critical integration users with Linux, enhancing cross-departmental communication, showcasing experience working in. Right. Instead of showing, instead of like it's always show don't tell, right? So instead of spending all this space to tell them what you're doing, spend more of this room showing what you're doing, right? Resolve critical integration issues. How? Right? How? The how there is not touched on at all. Okay, this is Android crafted. Firestore. And quiz through sessions for professors. Okay, sure. Also, placement security cameras. Developed randomized greedy Boolean satisfaction atom. Then vertex covers. Design 3 algorithm. This is not a very good project if you're going for. What did you say? Android dev, software dev, data engineer, ML. This is like a lead code. Like this is yeah. I would either expand on this one, or better yet, just expand on this one. Your only experience. Database restructuring, career optimization. Also, you don't need to say C++ project if it's in your project and I need to list C++. Same with this. Same with this. This one I can let you get away with because that at least explains what this is. Because this is a name, not a technology, right? Database restructuring, career optimization. See, the word comprehensive here also doesn't mean anything because you don't know we don't know what data you have in this database. So the word comprehensive doesn't say much. Okay, efficient table structure. How's that quantified? Capture complex. What's complex? A lot of words here, not a lot of showing. Optimized over 20. You can just say 23. You can just say 23 SQL queries. That's fine. At this point, is the same as the above one, right? It's the same stuff. You have game statistics, which is over here. You have player information, which is over here. You have team data, which is over here. So these 2 points are the same points. Spotify music, blah, blah, blah. Spotify's fine. Okay, great. Yeah, a lot of stuff here that is a lot of telling and not a lot of showing. That's the number one thing you would have to change. Okay, look at the next one. Looks good. So this person is saying going for a full stack backend new grad roles. Okay, that's fine. Let's go on chat. Anything in chat? No, blah blah, nothing. Okay. Great. So personal website, nice. Full stack, that's good to see. UT, yeah, looks good. Okay, experience, we have backend. This is at the university. This is, okay, for like 6 months. This is, oh, this is a bit of a, no, sorry. This is before that, 8 months. Again at the university. This is before, this is a 6 months before, no, 5 months before, 6 months before that. This is before that, okay. And then you, 2025, so this was your second year. Okay. Project. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Okay. That yeah, that looks good. Let's take a look. So, backend full stack, new grad. Makes sense. Architect organization directory app Next.js from organizations. Design implementing APIs, database schemas, business logic. Built a Go CLI tool to automate ingestions down, reducing manual data entry at time of 94%. Backend engineer, University of Toronto. So this is a app, like a web app, right? Okay. So you did the back end of the web app. You did some stuff here. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Software engineering intern, monolithic ASP.NET, microservice architecture, improving maintainability, scalability, reducing 100%. Yeah, I can believe that. Doctor using Opens for debugging. Opens is a bit. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. No, it's fine. File conversion, compression of our service, reducing file sizes by. Is this supposed to be like increasing performance by reducing file sizes or and? But either way, the data point is good. I'll take it. Improve efficiency of internal Python scripts, but efficiency. I would be a bit more specific about efficiency, right? Improved runtime, throughput, latency. This is another UT. Okay, this is a different lab, I guess, or a different. Let's take a look. Okay, so integrating essentially you're tracking terms in the NTDR, improving press stability, 20% decrease. Believe that. Integrated advanced tagging system, improving file organization, search efficiency 12%. Refactor React routing forms. Reducing what time? Task time. Refactored forms. Oh, do you mean like refactor like the UI UX forms? If so, I'll be a bit more clear about that, but that makes sense still. Yeah, I'll be a bit more clear about that. Yeah, okay. Otherwise, I think this makes sense. I'm basically thinking, like these two sound pretty different, so I wouldn't combine them. But yeah, no, I think it's fine as is. I mean the structure. Okay, Oracle. This is what we do here. Implement UI backend Java TypeScript SQL as user experience. Okay, sure. You know, it's fine. That makes sense. Refactor is going to use bind variables, preventing SQL injection. This is a good one. Good one. Good stuff. Although it is a bit concerning that even Oracle was using not bind variables. Yeah, guess I'm not too surprised. That's not a slight, I'm just saying. That makes sense. Sleep health expert sounds fun. Okay. Channeling, enhancing applications with 200%. Okay, I like that. Using attention processing. Okay, one thing I will say there, I don't really know what channel scaling is. I can't like message channels or like WebSocket channels. I'm not really sure what channel means in this context. Maybe if I saw this, I would know. But just be aware that without that, I don't know what channels are, or I'm not sure what channels are. LangChain open source contribution, blah 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 blah. I would link your GitHub PRs. Develop AI story creation app using OpenAI APIs with real-time collaboration. I don't know what that is. Create a task queue, bullet queue, long-range task, using experience. This is a project, right? So I would say I would elaborate on that, right? Like elaborate on how. Yeah. It makes sense. Like, look, this is one thing which makes sense. Like, this is a sensical architecture. But stuff like saying how, by reducing queue churn or whatever metric you want to track on that one. Especially if it's your project, I think you have more ability to have visibility on that one. So, I ask you to put that in. Automated deployment, safety, pipeline, life cycle, GitHub actions. Okay, that's fine. Looks pretty good. I'd say the main thing that can be improved here is like some small things, some small piece of wording can be improved, but the content's pretty clear. Nothing's too flashy. Yeah, I think it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. Let's take a look. If you're working on a project and plan to add it to your resume, would you include it? Would you include what you plan to have completed or we have so far? The way I would do that is I would use different tenses. So use past tense for what's been implemented and use present tense for what you're doing right now or what you're doing in the future. So you can still put it on to kind of show what you're planning to do. But like, don't put stuff down that's like too far away. That is, because someone will look at your resume and go like, "Oh yeah, this is a reasonable next step," and some people are like, "No, that is not even close to being implemented." People know. People know. Okay, let's take a look then. Next person is this person. Looks okay. I think. Let's see. Nope, looks fine. Boom. This person's comment is, want to be open to back-end internship roles, but I'm also looking for ML roles. This is the one I used to apply for SDE roles. I have a more data-focused ML role. So you basically want to be evaluated for the back-end internship roles. Okay. Oh my god, the resolution's low. Okay, that's fine. What are we? Can I? No. Zooming it in wouldn't help. Okay. The indenting is off, right? Like if you're gonna have indenting here, I would say indent the, if you wanna have bullet points here, I'd say, oh whoops, I'd say put, yeah, I say put these in like put these in a bit more, because right now these are all centered, and then this one's a bit to the left, but that's a nit. Okay, this is fine. I like that. CSGPA never hurts to put that down. Okay, TA starting Jan. Software engineering intern, natural resources. Oh, and Victoria, cool. This is earlier, and then Redis clone or Tracterex. You should probably calm that on next time, but I'll assume it's fine. Okay. Let's take a look. So we have this. This is a 4-month. A collaborated national scientists in geographic science research. You mean with? Collaborated. Yeah, I think you meant with there. Data science and research developer tools. Okay, I would say, like, in geographic science research through data analysis and designing research tools. Be like, I would have to, like, you have to be more specific here. Like, what data analysis did you do? What tools did you make or design? Built Python programs to automate gathering, processing, and analysis of 20 plus years of soil data, 5 plus antennas. Okay, to automate gathering. Okay, I would be specific in terms of, like, are these scripts? Are this a back end that feeds into a front end? Add a parallel processing open source Python library, blah blah blah. Okay, that makes sense. Good link, by the way. Adapted extended existing company software to include multi-threading with mutex experiments more efficient. That makes sense. These, if by data analysis and research tools you mean this, you can just combine these into one point. 4 months, yeah, okay, 4 months, yeah, makes sense. Redis clone, build custom Redis clone, able to handle 100 plus current TCP requests from scratch in C++. This is one of those things where it would be, if you're gonna flaunt the C++, I would specifically say which version. Because to do that in C++ 26 versus, like, let's say 10 is quite a big difference. So I would put that in if I were you. Design buffer IEO reduce, okay, makes sense. Enhanced readability, robust error handling, and error checks for all system checks. Oh yeah, that makes sense. That's good. I would say, yeah, this is pretty good. This is a pretty good backend project. I like that. Okay, Tracterex, Python. This is a hackathon. Okay. You could. I'm assuming it's a hackathon. I don't know what that is. Implemented post action. This been used drag size. Blah blah. Okay, great. Okay, RA. That's go reduce loss, 200 epics, 30% loss. Develop Python-based computer vision auto registering 100 Okay. No, that makes sense. It's a bit warping, train the model. Okay, no, this is fine. Yeah, this is fine. Only 4 months, so I think there's more to grow on it, but yeah, this is fine. Quantitative trading, member factor research sub-team with a quantitative research that you training group, develop GAN network, predict stock trends using combination of and improved existing. Okay, this is fine. Small nit. Sometimes when people look at these like student group stuff, where you have a unbounded or unanchored percentage, it's often better. So here's the thing, right? See, increasing accuracy by 30% could be from 0 to 30%, right? So if it's actually good now, I would actually anchor it by saying bringing the accuracy by 30% to some impressive percentage. If you're consciously trying to hide that, then yeah, that's fine. It's working pretty good. Okay, UPC Orbit, TypeScript, set backend string TypeScript. TypeScript and Node? I'm assuming Node here. Design implemented gRPC API. If you're Node, by the way, put it in. In Python, transmit commands such as bit streams into and from the on board a computer. Design implemented RPC is spec in Python. The way it's worded right, the way it's worded right now, it sounds like you made a gRPC API library in Python, which I'm almost certainly is not the case. There's almost certainly one off the shelf. So this is a bit of a weird point. I would rephrase it a bit. Internalized Dockerized Postgres database. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Backend. So these aren't backend. Like this right here is your only backend point here, and it's very unclear what's actually backend about it. So that's I would elaborate a bit on that one, right? Like put something there, put some more content there. The other backend thing here is you have some stuff here where, where's the app? Was it this resume? I got confused. No, it was this one. Yeah, you have some performance stuff in Python that's backend themed. It feels like right now the backend experience is quite disjoint. A lot of stuff that's not part of an application, or if it is, it's not clear that it is. So I would say in general, this is a good project to have on. Hackathon projects, it is what it is. People generally don't take that too seriously because they know that this is all just surface knowledge. If you wanted to improve this with a project more, I'd say go for a full stack project, and just highlight the backend aspect of that one. And you can make a pure backend project as well, but that's less flexible, right? So if there's no front end at all, then it's less flexible. But if you only want to do backend work, then yeah, you can make a backend project and replace, like for example, replace this. Like you can still have it on, but just have it like one line. You have this thing. Here's the tech we use. We want this thing, and that should be enough. Yeah, I know this is your SDE focused, like software focused resume, but there's still a lot of like ML on it, so just be aware of that. And in general, the ML side of things won't help your chances for software because it's a disjoint set of skills. Okay, this guy did not redact their name at all, and they clicked the yes button. That guy didn't even try. Didn't redact. Okay, next. This guy looks good. Okay, let's have a look. What's her comment? My goal is to break into big tech with SWE. New grad role, backend preferable, working with many roles like full stack, data, mobile data. And I feel my resume doesn't have in-depth experience for keywords for backend role, and not sure what to do to fix it. I would appreciate if you can tell me the action plan, or keep running LC. Okay, LC wise, so resume and LC are different things, right? Like the goal of resume is to get in the interview loop. Once you're in the interview loop, then your resume doesn't matter at all, essentially. So it's not either or. It's not either or, right? It's if you're not getting your callback rate, it's a resume. If you are getting a callback rate, not passing interviews, then it's your interviewing skills. Okay, let's take a look then. This is new grad. PySpark. Okay. Wait, so you're doing backend? What does Bruno say? They work full stack data mobile, but they want to go backend. Okay. This is fine. You have Node. What backend do you have here? You have Java. Node. Okay. Relevant courses. Oh, a bit ton of room for relevant courses. You have one two you have experience here. If you have experience, I would say get rid of this. Like none of these are relevant, so get rid of that. I mean, yeah. So if you're in Canada, this is definitely irrelevant. So get rid of that. Okay, so building identity verification. This is present. Building identity. This is new grad. I'm assuming this is new grad role. Service. Identify service for blah blah blah. Home. With the home office. Okay. This has already been a little while though. Yeah, I'd say this year people will let you slide with this kind of point. If you're entering the new year, like the new year application, with this being essentially 4 months of work, then people can ask you some questions about that. Right? Keep in mind, like, okay, this is you have a year here, you have 4 months here. This is about 6 months. People are gonna want some more details about your most recent role. So the first thing you have to do there is just to figure out what to put there. So keep in mind that's coming up. Okay. I mean, about this, there's nothing like there's no content here. I can't say anything like there's nothing here I can go off of. Okay, let's look at this one. This is intern. Cloud pipelines, some ETL stuff, high quality adjectives. Sure. 6,000 raw files. In Shimilang, and that isn't okay. Feels a bit like a duplicate. Are these the same thing you're talking about? Are they talking about the same Python ETL pipeline and this Python here? If so, this is just the same point twice. So refactor that out to say something unique both times. Okay, bullet mock data pipeline, API trials, blah blah blah. That's fine. Transition from intern to part-time software developer. Okay, that's fine. You can get to that point. Took ownership in developing services for IAM software, enabling user migration synchronization, automatic interactions. The took ownership part is a bit weird because if you disregard this first part, the rest of your point can completely be found without it. So the took ownership part is a bit of fluff. I'd get rid of it, but you can keep it on if you really like it. Optimize working service app, caching data, blah blah. This stuff doesn't really matter, blah blah. Java Mockito, GCP, 3000 SonarQube, okay. SES, fake Amazon bookstore, food apply. Oh, okay, what's this? Backend REST API, Spring MVC, e-commerce. That could be good. Let a team of students and develop a data collection web prototype. That doesn't matter. How about this? Wait, what? Are you going for backend? I've been working, yeah, full stack data mobile. Want to go into backend. Okay. Yeah, this is full stack. Yeah, full stack. Okay, something about this. I will say just off the bat. This, with 1 point, has no information at all. So, and that seems to be the case with a lot of these projects. Let's have a quick look at this one. Okay, so this one, okay. So first of all, I would say just get rid of this one. This is worse than your experience in this company. So that provides no extra value. So this one I would say, this is a prototype. Depending on the depth of the prototype, I would say, pick one of these 3 projects that you think has the most content, and put 4 points under it that detail all the work that you've done. And then the other two points, the other 2 projects, just only have the title. And just have the GitHub link, and that's it. Currently, it's not possible to tell which of these actually has any content at all. and listing four of them just off the cuff like this doesn't really, it doesn't matter if you're 4 or 10. There's no difference. Like the difference maker here is going to be being able to explain one or maybe two, but like probably one, explain one of them in some detail, and so they don't have to use words like engineered. You can actually go into specific details about we did for the database, for the REST API, for the authentication, etc. So that's something you can sacrifice off there. I would say also, you can get rid of that. These two you can combine. No, you can't combine those two. I lied. Can't combine those two. This one you can get rid of as well. I would say, yeah, there's definitely places you can shave off points, especially the further back there, you can shave them off. And the goal here is to get more detail, right? Like you don't need more breadth, you need more depth in the points. What else is there? I would appreciate if you can tell me the action plan, build more backend products, ABC Tech, create randomly code. You have a job, right? I would say your number one priority should be performing at your job. Like go in there, figure out what you can be doing, and go from there. Like if you have a job, work on your job. Unless you really hate it. If you really hate it, then you should be finding another job. But I'm assuming, I don't know what company A is, obviously, right? But if you can tolerate the job, if you're okay with it, right? Work on the job, learn skills there, leverage your coworkers, seniors, etc., to figure out what's going on, get skills like that. It's if you have people like that who are more knowledgeable than you, then it's always worth it to leverage them instead of going on your own time and learning about like some stuff. So that's what I would do in terms of like an action plan. All right. I will stop taking resume submissions in 3 minutes. Okay, so this person, Triambic. I think. No. Oh, yes. No. Okay. Yeah, looks good. Let me get that. Looks fine. Boom. Oh my god, we got a resolution back. Let's go. Okay, aiming for full stack software engineer internships. Okay. CS Math 2026. Experience, we got a co-op incoming. Okay. I'm assuming you have, do you have a team? If you have a team name, put the team name in. This is a co-op. This is TA. Okay, J in a scikit, learn lowercase s. Okay, that's fine. Projects. Full stacks. Okay, projects. Okay, yeah. Fair recognition. That's fine. Live football CC. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's good. I think that's a pretty good hackathon project. Timer, responsive, customizable, feature like this system, large Firebase, data storage, define. Okay. This one makes sense. Definitely a bit weaker. If you're using Firebase already, I would like to see stuff like Firebase authentication. That could be a pretty cheap win. Okay, let's take a look here. So, it's the SDK for source code. Support students across. Okay. Multi-tenant retrieval. Feature vector. 25. Again, this is an unanchored data point. Faster response time with using LangChain than what? Develop the REST API, of course, again, blah, blah. Efficient material uploads, efficient. You can quantify that. It's ongoing, right? You can still quantify that. Build a responsive front-end React to shade and UI, material UI, heads and UI, blah, blah, okay. Front-end stuff here, a little front-end point there, I think doesn't hurt at all. Because you have a lot of room to spare, so that's fine. Full stack engineering internships. Couple good stuff here I see already. Definitely a pretty easy win for you to augment this one a bit more. I think for you, at least these two products are pretty good. If you were to make new products in the future, which you should consider, I would say, I would say, cut this down to maybe 2 points, and you can fit it in. But not too much to say about this. I would also, yeah, this you can get to that point. You can make this a 1-pointer as well. I would also put dates here if possible. Small nit there. Doesn't really matter. Yeah. Okay. What is this? Okay. Let's take a look at this one. This one is... I submitted a longer version this last time. Delete extra things, shorten it under 1 page as you recommended. Just want to see if you have any more quick tips yet for the time. Trying, what does it say? Trying to transition from academia to working as a software developer. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, length definitely looks tolerable now. So this is good. Right? This is good. It completed okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine to disclose. But do be prepared to talk about that in their behavioral, though. I won't ask, I don't care, but some people will care. Okay, experience, RTA. Yeah, that's fine. Present. Wait, what? That's present. Oh, so are you doing like a postdoc right now? Also, this indenting is a bit off. Okay, that's a bit weird. I don't know the status here. Why you're still a TA? We're not in the school anymore, but yeah. Developer. Okay. To increase the accuracy and decrease the effects of defective nodes. Okay, that makes sense. Design and analyze the distributed community. I would say ideally, to make this point stronger, you should talk about an outcome. Like, based on, like, because you did this, what changed? Like, what did you do after the fact? Right? Because typically speaking, if you want to analyze some property, the goal is to analyze it and based on the outcome of the analysis, take some action based on it. Right? So that second part there is missing. That's fine. Okay. This is Networks Lab. Okay. Network game decision making population. The game theory design algorithm predict impact populations collective behavior. That's good. Right. I would say implemented an algorithm using Python, showing that it outperforms previous algorithms. So you could probably combine these two into 1 point. Right. Design an algorithm to predict in Python, outperforming previous best by 50%. So you can kind of combine this into one. Save a bit of space there. ML detection algorithm Python TensorFlow CD checks. Safety standard, that's good. Order for all internal background code. This point you could shave off if you need room, but that's fine for now. Trinity scikit-learn, lowercase s, satisfaction rate, design implemented backend, Python, and MySQL methodology. Okay. Sure. Agile methodology, again, it's kind of like this point. You can get rid of it if you run out of room. If you're really dying to put Agile on resume, you should put it in like the skills section. Low level operating system, okay. That's fine. Okay, this is fine as well because you only have one line. I will say to improve this though, faster is relative. So relative to what is this faster? Productivity app, this is fine. You are missing a skill section here, right? Like maybe cut it off. That's fine. But typically speaking, you do want a skill section for the for a better resume score essentially. It's easier for computers and humans to parse if you have a discrete section like that. So put that in if you don't have one. All right, let's look at this one. Oh, I should close the form. GitHub names. Okay, what is it? Where is my form? Here it is. End. Cool. Cool. Let's take a look at this one. This is redacted. Looks fine to me. So this person's comment: I'm a second-year CS student at one of the top universities in Canada, applying locally Summer 2025, got no interviews so far, 100 apps with a resume. I want to show that I'm a well-rounded developer with a lot of personal experience in many technologies, going for full stack, greater focus on backend. The experience listed is a university software development team managed by my prof, unpaid. It is a 10 hours per week commitment, but I haven't done any stuff that's too exciting, so I'm not sure how to improve the bullet point for that. Okay, we'll have a look. We will have a look at that. Don't worry. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so 2020. So okay, so again, right, very new, going to second year kind of idea. Yeah, okay. Written coursework. If you want to put it in, put it by your school. Put it like over here. Otherwise, I would say get rid of it. Also, if you want to put them in, put them as like a comma separated list. Otherwise, you might get screwed up in parsing. Even the bullet points, like columnized bullet points, are typically pretty good, but why risk it? Okay, so 3.5 doesn't matter. Okay, so this we're talking about, right? Your current experience. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Department of Computer Science developed a full stack assignment grading platform that used by over 1,000 students from across 3 universities daily. Implemented backend functionality using Ruby and Rails conjunction with a Postgres database. Use React to manage application state and front end to create responsive elements. Okay. I mean, I'm not sure where to concern. This sounds like a pretty fine one. I would say the main thing here is that there's not very much depth in the points, right? So when you say developed, you know, if you say you developed a full stack assignment grading platform, that means it didn't exist before. So you made this thing, right? I mean, if it's a full stack one, it's already somewhere. It's like that's already something. So I would say there's definitely room to elaborate here. So the first thing I would do is, the first point is fine, right? It tells you what it is, what's going on. It has some users. That's great. The next thing is, I would say, to give you basically to bolster the points, is to not only tell them what you did, but to tell them the justification, right? So why did you pick Ruby on Rails? Why did you pick Postgres? Why do you pick React, etc.? That's going to give you more credibility for your points to show that you thought about other alternatives. So that's the kind of the meat. Like, that's a pretty free thing, pretty easy thing to do for you. So I think that's the next way forward. Okay, let me have a look at other stuff. So projects, this is new. These are quite old. These are all quite old. Okay. So high performance, auction preference. Okay, high performance. Okay. Okay, I like that. Single component size 100 megabytes and 300 milliseconds. High traffic React web interface, 100,000 users, 200 paid accounts. Train clustering, regression, blah blah blah. Okay. This last point here is not quite right. Redis does not communicate between containers. You're using something to communicate through Redis. So I would say the last point here can be rephrased, because right now it's phrased it's kind of objectively wrong, but I know what you mean. But it still is objectively wrong. Someone's trying to check. Oh, that's not true. It's been there since 2007. I know what you're talking about. Oh, this? Yeah. So I would say, don't say developed a full stack assignment grading platform. Right. The verb there is not quite right. Anyways, I think this is a good project. I think this is good. You can just fix the wording on that one, it'll be fine. But I think it's good. Okay, car model recognition, develop multiple app, recognize car models from voice input in real time. What? So you describe it? Fine tune and tested the CMU Sphinx speech recognition model for name. Oh, car names. I would put the word name there. Okay, developer. It's going. Okay, yeah, this is fine. I'd say that this feels like definitely less, like, less impressive than the first project. I think it's still fine to put the 3 points here, but let me read on. Led by Lion Club, web app. Collaborate poem, share them on community board, Flask backend, WebSockets, real-time condition, MongoDB, integrated, blah blah blah. Okay, this is a good project. I would say this is quite good. Some stuff here that you could definitely talk about. Um, with Discord through secure. Is this Discord through WebSockets? Is this WebSocket Discord? I don't remember if Discord can do WebSockets directly, but I think so. I don't remember though. I think this is a pretty good one, so that's fine. Uniqlo Sales Monitor, develop service and go to scrape transform, which is data from API Fashion Brand. Utilize patterns. Head start for 10 months. Design changes in the store's merchandise. This is fine. I think. Yeah, I think this is fine. I probably wouldn't use the brand name specifically here, because their website almost certainly does not allow you to scrape. This is fine. Okay, yeah, I'd say yeah. The first role does. I mean the only experience here does need to be bolstered up, but since it's only been 3-4 months, I think it's quite forgivable. But one thing you can think about is going forward how to like incentive like how to incentivize changes in resume. How do you justify these kind of changes? How do you like write more descriptive points? You can think about that while working on the project going forward. So that's definitely something which you should be looking at. Okay. Let's go next. This one looks fine, I think. Let's take a look. There's a lot of URLs here. No, those look fine. No, that's fine. Okay, let's go with that. Okay, so this one, the note here is full stack ML. This guy didn't even try to write anything. Okay, links, blah blah, Tailwind CSS. I would do a bit more capitalization. I'm assuming Tailwind CSS is supposed to be capitalized. Google Maps platform. Okay, I don't know why that's a technology though. Education 2026, some scholarships, work experience, projects. Okay, let's take a look. Full stack ML. All right. Cross-functional team of QA developers maintaining Nexus. ML workflow management system. Developed Artifactory lifecycle management policies. I'm just destroying temporary artifacts. Okay. Worked in a cross-functional team. So this is ongoing, but it's almost ending. There's no content here. There's nothing here. Right, so you're here 4 months. The first one's like an overall descriptive point about what's going on. So you worked on a cross-functional team of QA developers to do something. And then for content, you said that you optimized this policy to destroy temporary artifacts. What I'm getting at here is that you want to find some more stuff to put on here, okay? Because there's very little content here right now. City Hospital researcher. Okay, lab website. Design and implemented a comprehensive workflow benchmark compilation. Okay, design and implemented a comprehensive workflow to benchmark. Okay. Engineer robust data ingestion pipelines in Bash and leveraging the cancer genome analysis. Okay. Okay. By the way, you can get at this word, and then you can fit this in 2 lines. Okay. Optimized data processing, implemented parallel batch, remote cluster, okay, supercomputing, reducing competition 30 extra large. Okay, that's fine. That's good. Develop and apply it, blah blah. Internal union. Apply benchmark statistics. Okay, that makes sense. Develop an in-memory range query system Python to evaluate GMO 17x and reducing memories by 70x. This is quite good. That's quite good. I'd say you could definitely. I mean, grouping wise, right? You could definitely. I think the group of these three here makes sense. That's quite good. I'd say this was a good experience. Yeah. Projects. Okay. Skill. Intuitive modern front end cross devices. Since you're using two lines here anyways, by the way, these two words, whatever. If you're using two lines anyways, I would specify about what considerations you made for mobile users. Because nothing about these inherently is good for is inherently meant for mobile, right? So talk about that. Engineer high performance backend service goes to container Docker. If you talk about high performance, you talk about performance. What's the performance? Because look, right now you're saying you did this thing, which is good. You got 50 active users a month. I don't know what kind of performance you need for 50 active users. So that is not a data point, right? So you gotta have a different data point to prove that it's a high performance system. Okay. DLS applicable data about has in-depth relevance of generated matchup advice. Okay, Claude 3.5, the Bedrock AI summary matchup. Sure. SSL TLS. Does that not come with Go? I don't really know Go, to be honest. If that doesn't come with Go, then that's gonna put in. If that comes with the Go STL, then don't say that. That's just kind of given, right? Project name. 36 different submissions. Okay. Sure. Okay. What was the comment here? The comment here was full stack ML. I don't see any ML here. The only ML, like, I don't see any ML here actually at all. Right? You had this ML, but it's AI ML, but you didn't do anything. Like, you just used the API. You had where was this job? You had this job over here, but all you did was do benchmarking for ML algorithms, which is not ML. So I don't see any ML here. So ML wise, I don't know what's going on with that. Backend full stack wise, I feel like it's okay. But you should probably figure out what you mean by ML because I don't see any ML here. Wait, there was a scikit-learn, right? Where was it? Yeah. SQL develop benchmark. Yeah, like, this is not ML. This is just. Yeah, I don't think that's ML. It's a bit of a mismatch there. Okay, last one for today. Last one for today. Here we go. Here we go. Last one. Going for full stack backend positions. Okay, let's have a look. Full stack backend. Okay, boom. Courses. How much space do we have? We're a bit low on space, so we'll see about that. This is a year ago. That's 4 years ago now. When are you graduating? You graduated already. So this is a new grad role. Oh, this is an intern. Oh, this is okay. I see. Projects. A lot of projects. Okay, let's look at this real quick. You can split that out. D3. Oh, D3 enjoyer. Nice. Okay. I would also say you should, instead of saying NoSQL, you should list a specific NoSQL database, like, for example, DynamoDB or MongoDB, etc. Okay. Maintain Ruby on Rails, SAS, MVC, backend functionality, performance optimization with RubyMine in Agile environments. If you're talking about focusing on performance, then talk about the performance. Implement rate limiting, app signal logging. Implemented rate limiting with app signal. Also logging, track internal user. What? I don't understand this one. Implement rate limit app signal. Also logging. Oh, I think it's just in English. I think it's supposed to be like implement rate limiting with app signal, along with logging and tracking user requests exceeding 100 per hour. Create dashboard for real-time monitoring. You can talk about that. Like, what is this dashboard? Design and develop a dynamic survey system, RESTful API endpoints, MySQL data management, personalizing surveys based on user data. Like how? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can believe that. Engineer dynamic user permissions, event tracking, insurance secure. That makes sense. Implement a mobile responsive login, do material design, road conference test remote. That makes sense. Um, this is a bit all over the place, but it makes sense. I would say this point over here definitely needs more. These 2 points here need more elaboration, and you can cut a line there. Software test, because you already have a test position. Plan executing manual automated tests, Orbeez, GUI app, network interactions including troubleshooting, OT, Ubuntu, general commands. Plan and execute manual and automated tests for the GUI app network interactions. That makes sense. That makes sense, yeah. Yep. Develop automated test cases, Python, iPro, Cruise, 10% of performance, and front-end UI functionality. Makes sense. Track per bugs automatically, provide yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Okay. So what generally needs to change here is that you need to have, in this space, you need to pick 2 projects and elaborate on them a lot more. Like, pick 2 projects, put 4 points each on them ish, and then everything else, if you're really proud of the project, just put them as a one-line thing and link them out, like link them to your GitHub or whatnot. Currently, there's just not much depth in here at all, especially with regards to if you're going for, you said full stack backend, right? So stuff like, for example, this is cool, and you might be really proud of it, but that's not going to help you on the full stack backend side of things, right? So if you like it, yeah, put that as like a 1 pointer or like a no pointer, just list it there as something you've done. Like, it can still be a talking point when it comes, if it comes up, but like, there's a lot more that needs to be done, especially with regards to like a full stack app, if you wanna go the full stack route, because I know right now you have this right here, which is what I saw was backend work, right? This is backend work entirely. You have front end testing work over here with the UI functionality. And so, for example, if you want to pick this one, which seems like relatively full stack, you can expand on that one. Now, that is a hackathon project, so maybe don't pick that one. But that's an example of what someone like me would see as like missing from the skill set. So that's something for you to definitely consider on that one. Okie dokie. Let me take a look. Because I'm such a generous person, I'll do one more, even though I said I wouldn't do any more. And then I'm going to call it, so no one else submit. Did I review this one already? Don't think so, but it looks familiar. Okay, that's fine. I will put the graduation date there. The target graduation date. Okay, by the way, if you're gonna put relevant courses, at least list the names. No one knows what these things are. Skills, that's a lot of skills. Okay. Oh, I remember this one. I think you showed this one previously. Okay. Okay, sunlight detection. Real world impact. Converting them to implement a system to recognize and interpret sign language gestures in real time, converting them to alphabets and words, thereby enabling deaf and mute people to communicate directly in a real-time impact. Develop real-time sign language system using TensorFlow. So, right, the main thing that's missing here is that, okay, you're positioning this as like this could be used, but what thing you didn't say is what this is. right? What is this system? Is a system an Android app? Is it a web app? Is it a hardware device? Right? This is just like this is critical information in the point that is missing, right? I would also generally not position projects to have real world impact. If it theoretically has real world impact, hopefully the reader can deduce that, right? Otherwise, like no one wants to be told, oh, my thing can do this, and because I'm trying to do this thing, like if they can't tell, they can't tell. Disease awareness game, hackathon, okay. Back launch, okay, this will make sense. That's good. Resume parser, latex PDF generator, latex PDF. Oh, good capitalization. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Sure. Sure. Develop and tailor backend payment management system, but again, so this is a relative data point. So you need to anchor this, like relative to what? Uh, so it has to be relative, right? Like if it was 10 seconds before and now it's 9 seconds, 9.750 seconds, you went from horrible to slightly less horrible, but still pretty bad, right? But if you went from 251 milliseconds to 1 millisecond, that is unbelievable, right? So relative data points, people, please. Why is this something that people can't get? Please, relative data points. Recognize that people like me know that this means nothing because there's no reference point. Implement a CU batch. Okay, that's fine. ML. Oh, you should by the way, you should generally speaking put the experience above projects, almost always. And looking at your project experience, I think that applies here too. That's fine. That's fine. These are fine. Okay. So you said your comment was what? Your comment was, I'm a second year comp sci at U of A targeting software internships jobs in future. Okay, that's a bit vague, but what I can still say about this is, so first of all, what I just said still applies. In general though, it's generally better use of your time to invest more time into one project and like one preferably a full stack project and actually building it out to be substantial and having maybe 5 points to talk about that project than to have like 5 smaller projects and have like 1 or 2 points each. So if you were to look for a future direction for making projects, that's where I would direct you. Because everything here is fine. It's just that nothing stands out, right? Like this stuff is it's very surface, and that's okay. But I would say, to best use your time, pick 1 or 2 of these guys and put all your time into that instead. Okay, let's take a. How does this resume? Yeah, so it's well, there's no fixed schedule. I do it about once a week. I've done it pretty consistently every week so far, but that can change. It's sort of like whatever I feel like. I generally put out a notice on the TCN server, so you can look out for it there because I do post there, or at least I will put a poll there to see if people prefer Saturday or Sunday that week. Because when I do mock interviews, it's not always easy to, like when I do mock interviews, it's not easy to schedule people that far ahead of time because people cancel on me and it really sucks. So I have to schedule it a bit closer to the time, and that means that when I try to combine the mock interview with the resume review, they kind of play off each other a bit. So it depends. How long before the review do you get it announced on Discord? I generally try to announce it Wednesday or Thursday of the week before the weekend, but yeah, sometimes I can't schedule people in before then, so it's a bit later. Usually by Thursday I'll have it in though. Okay. Last minute questions, otherwise I'm heading out. What's my phone doing? What the hell? Alright everyone. Get out of here.